This is an ancient practice, slugging of the face, where people basically like they use, unfortunately, Vaseline, which I highly don't recommend because that's a petroleum base, and you probably don't want to go to bed with petroleum.
No, don't use petroleum base. That's nasty.
But they do it. But the alternative is castor oil. And
Yeah.
castor oil, you just, again, if you want to do that, you just apply it completely all over your face and you can go to bed. The one caution with that is, of course, it's messy, right? So, you probably want to avoid having it all over the face. So my workaround for that I've been using for years is that I apply castor oil again with the roll-on all around my eyes and including my eyebrows and eyelashes, because castor oil has been known to help improve the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles.
What if aging isn't about slowing down, but leveling up? I'm Dr. Isaac Jones. This is the Longevity Leaders Podcast. Welcome to the Longevity Leaders Podcast. I'm Dr. Isaac Jones, and this episode is part of our exclusive series recorded at the Exponential Longevity Summit, a global gathering of cutting-edge health experts exploring the edge of human performance, health span, and longevity. Let's get into it. All right, welcome to this incredible interview that I've got going on with Dr. Marisol. I'm excited to have you, Dr. Marisol. Why don't you share a little bit about your background? And you've got an incredible clinical healing system, and you transform so many patients over the years with what you do. But I'd love for you to just share a little bit of context to who you are and what makes you so excited about longevity, beauty, and this whole space.
I love this, Isaac. Thank you for having me on. We're good friends, and it's just always such a pleasure to speak with you. And you always give me such a great introduction. So thank you for that. But what I wanted to let the audience know is, I started my medical career back when I was an infant. I always wanted to be a doctor, but unfortunately, due to medical mismanagement, I was diagnosed early on with asthma, but it wasn't really asthma. No doctor had placed their hands on me. It was actually anxiety. And what happened with that is I was mismedicated. It really ruined my life as a child, made me really like stick out like a sore thumb with a lot of weight gain due to prednisone and different things. And as I evolved and aged and grew, I really got a bad taste in my mouth for the medical system. And I lost my passion for wanting to be a doctor. I always wanted to help people, but I just didn't want to go down that road because that was the only road at the time that I could see. And as I aged and got older and started working, I was really, really fortunate to fall into the lap of a German homeopathic pharmaceutical laboratory called Heal. And I was really, really blessed to be able to learn everything about alternative medicine, holistic, homeopathics. I was working with chiropractors like you are. I was working with naturopathic doctors, pharmacists, everyone from a holistic mindset. And suddenly this entire world just opened in front of my eyes of a world that actually looks at the whole and not just the organ system or the organ or the body part. And what I realized was that this just felt so inherently aligned with who I was in my body. And it just felt so good. Yeah. That in the process of working in this role, I really started just learning everything that I could. And then I grew in that role and became like the prime educator for all the doctors who were treating, cancer and autoimmunity. And then one of the doctors one day says to me, "You need to become the doctor." And I took that as a sign from God. And, I enrolled the next day in naturopathic college. I chose naturopathy over chiropractic because at the time, naturopathy had this like big, huge scope and you could do whatever you wanted to. So if you wanted to play in the land of Ayurvedic medicine, or if you wanted to work with traditional Chinese medicine or homeopathy or herbology, I just was really in the energy of exploring. And I had learned already so much during my time as a rep. One of the things that I had learned was about castor oil and castor oil pack. I had started to delve into a little bit of working with castor oil for beauty, but this thing called the castor oil pack just really sounded like a crazy woo-woo thing that I was in and involved into the holistic medicine thing, but some things I totally wasn't into yet. And then because this castor oil pack thing was, this cotton cloth that you apply oil onto it and then you place it onto your body. And, it has a way of like self-soothing the system and just helping you to relax. And from there, you feel better and
Like
your body's
parasympathetic activation.
Yeah, like in a way, it's just so soothing because of the cloth on your skin, right?
Yeah.
So and the oil, like just the sensation of the oil on the body. So it just helps the body to just feel better, right? It's just one of those
Mm,
things that's just so like they really don't know what it does exactly. So I can't make any statements in terms of exactness within the science. But we do know that it's just soothing for the body. And I really still wasn't ready to do it because I just thought it was woo-woo until I got really, really sick in my fourth year of naturopathic college because this I went into school already not feeling well. And then the
wow.
stress of 4 years, as you know, in our professional programs is just enormous.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it is very grueling. And then the boards that you have to pass and all the licensing requirements. I mean, it's very, very grueling. So
Yeah. Yeah. And when I was sick, here was my problem, my dilemma was that I was doing everything right. I was doing everything by the book that a naturopathic doctor would prescribe. I was exercising right. I was, reading all the labels on my food. I was eating the right foods. I was seeing all the right doctors. I was doing my food sensitivities. I was taking all the right supplements, taking an enormous amount of supplements, actually. I was going for IVs and colon hydrotherapies. I was like everything, a sauna, you name it, I was doing it. And I got to the point where I was so bedridden, I couldn't do anything. And
mm,
I'm like, to tell you the truth, I was losing faith in my medicine and I was worried. I was like, oh no, like, what if like what I'm going to school for doesn't even work for people? Like this is horrible,
wow.
right? But then a light bulb came on, and for over a decade, people told me to do a castor oil pack. And again, they couldn't explain why it worked. They didn't know what it did. They just kind of said, it just feels good. Try it. You'll see. Right. And I was like, what have I got to lose? I'm desperate. I want to get out of bed. I was literally in the last year of my
Wow.
college, like walking into my residency. And so I took this like old cotton bag, sewed it up, and then I put it on my body. And literally, like the best way that I can describe the feeling that I got that day was, and it's biblical, is because the only way that I can describe it is literally that the minute I put it on my body, like the sky opened up and angels just began to sing. I just,
Wow.
yeah, there's something about the castor oil pack that just connects you, like
Wow.
mind, like it just moves your system into just such a state where, it's like a meditative state in a way. And it
Mm,
didn't surprise me that it was able to do it because when I had tried to meditate in the past, I was absolutely never able to. Like
mm,
I couldn't calm down my system enough, right, to be able to do that. So then if you can't calm your system down, well, then you can't feel better, right? And
mm,
and the things that you're taking, your body's really unable to receive it. So what I realized was that these castor oil packs were actually very much an energetic practice, much more so than anything physical. So it was
wow.
literally just opening up your body to be able to receive all the goodness of the supplements, of the saunas, of the colon therapies, of the IV therapies, of the
Wow.
counseling, of the countless things that people do for their health. And then at one point they're just like, oh my God, I'm stuck. And
Mm,
so, it really inspired me. And when I started my clinical practice, I just couldn't like stop talking about castor oil packs. And what was really ironic was that my very first patient, this beautiful, beautiful African American Black woman, walks into my room and she looked like she was in her 40s, like so young. And I was like, wow, this lady is just stunning. I'm like, I want her secret sauce. And then she literally asked her, what's your secret? Open up her file and she's like 65. And I'm like, oh my God, you're 65. I'm like, tell me your secrets. I want to know them. And she goes, two things, castor oil and everything that you need to know to heal is in the Bible. And
oh,
yeah, those two things.
wow.
Yeah, I took those with me as like really like a sign from the divine that I was on the right way and that more than likely it was going to be my mission to really bring castor oil back from the lower recesses of the health food stores because when I first met castor oil, I literally kneeled down in a health food store and I had seen a halo around the bottle and the bottle was all dusty. I picked up the oil and I'm like, what is this? Right. But it had fallen out of fame because it was messy, hard to do, not
Huh.
easy. Right. And so I knew that my role was going to become to, make it simplified and show the world the multi-uses of this beautiful cosmetic and self-soothing oil.
Wow. And is it like an omega-6, omega-3? Like what is the kind of makeup of it? Where does it come from? And I assume there's probably a bunch of, because of how you've made it so popular, there's a bunch of rip-off brands
Oh
that are
yes.
out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like how do you stay away from the things that are actually vegetable oil based and they're saying castor oil versus the ones that are true, like
Yeah.
high
Yeah.
quality
Awesome. So
castor oil?
that's a great question. So castor oil really is this very, very unique vegetable oil, and it's a combination of omega fatty acids, omega-3, omega-6, and also oleic acid. So,
Mm,
which is basically similar to like what's in olive oil and sesame oil. And then the really unique thing about castor oil is that it contains this molecule called ricinoleic acid. And ricinoleic acid, it just is so unique and is just like, again, we don't really know what it does, but it just does something very, very special. And
mm,
what we feel is that it's the uniqueness of that ricinoleic acid molecule that's not a triglyceride found anywhere else, that's what makes the consistency of the castor oil very ooey gooey, and probably is what castor oil owes its carrier oil abilities to, is because of that uniqueness, right? So like it's castor oil because it's and don't let anyone sell you otherwise, because some people will say, oh, ours is liquid, more liquidier, or a lot smoother. That's not castor oil, then that's something else. And
right.
you really do have to be careful, because when we brought out our Queen of the Thrones brands in the United States and Canada, there was very, very few castor oil products on the marketplace. We were the only game in town really for castor oil packs. And what
Mm,
ended up happening is rapidly, like, all these brands came out on the oil, and all these brands of castor oil packs came out. But the thing is, none of them understand the science and behind a really, like, looking at a castor oil and reading it for the quality, right? They don't
wow.
understand, like, as an example, when you test castor oil, like first of all, these are the things that you need to have in your castor oil, or don't even bother testing it because it's going to waste your time. It must be in glass. Castor oil is something that really should never sit in plastic, just again because of its carrier ability. Like if you do a small little experiment at home, and you take like 2 glasses of water, you put olive oil, about 4 tablespoons of castor oil, and then you start dumping in pepper spoonfuls, and then you shake them around, you stir them around. What you'll notice is that the pepper in the olive oil glass just falls to the bottom, but the pepper in the castor oil glass is actually supported and held. So
Huh.
it's super, super, super unique. But that also is one of the reasons why, we don't know if there could be transfer of plastic into the castor oil. So we want to avoid that as much as possible. And because it is, such a self-soothing oil, we're always looking to make it as clean as possible. And that's what you can see in testing. So in testing and in the oil, you're always looking for it to be extracted either cold pressed or expeller pressed. Now there's,
So there are different ways to do it. There's
yeah,
other there's ones I assume they that
that are
that
toxic too. Yeah,
yeah.
like there's a way to remove the oil from the bean using hexane, which is a chemical. So you always want your castor oil to be hexane free. And
Wow.
then the other way is mechanically, by either cold pressing and expeller pressing. The only difference between cold pressing and expeller pressing is that expeller pressing uses a little bit of heat,
Mm,
not enough to damage the oil, but you'll hear out there that people are always like, oh no, it must only be cold pressed. That isn't necessarily
right.
true. It has to be tested to see which one is better. For an example, we've been for a few years now actually working with expeller pressed rather than cold pressed, because the reality is, like, we're one of the biggest producers of castor oil at this point. And whenever I was testing the cold press, it just wasn't meeting the standards, and the expeller press was testing better. And so,
Interesting.
yeah, so, and I know that was definitely a, a deterrent for many people to buy our product, and maybe might have, swayed brand loyalty and such for people going to other brands. But I am strong in what I believe, and I'm only going to be delivering the very best to people when it comes to the oil and the packs. And I use it so much in my daily practice. There's no other way that I could live with myself,
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
Like, so the testing, because you can see the testing a lot. Number one, you can see oxidation status. You can
Mm,
see, You can see a peroxide value. That's a level of like how oxidized it is. You can see free fatty acids. Free fatty acids basically means, every fat has a glycerol backbone and a triglyceride chain. And the more that those are cleaved off, so taken, the triglyceride fatty chains are taken off of the glycerol backbone, the less integral it is and the more exposed it's been to either light or heat or some kind of damage. Right?
Ah,
So you're looking for that. You're also looking for a healthy level of iodine in castor oil, because castor oil is a known carrier of iodine, which in many cases, now it's a micromolecular amount, so it isn't anything that is too high of a dose to be of any harm. But iodine is an important nutrient for many women, many men. There's many areas that are deficient in iodine. So it's just another beautiful thing about castor oil, like the way that castor oil is also known to be high in vitamin E, so which is what makes it so nourishing. So,
wow.
those are really important. I actually got kind of so fed up of non-regulation in terms of supplement industry and product industry in terms of quality control, that what I did? You're gonna
You
love this.
created your own.
Well, no, I actually tested 13 brands off of Amazon.
Oh,
I
wow.
tested 13 brands off of Amazon. And of course, that's why I created my own, because I wasn't trusting the ones that were out there for sure.
Wow.
But I tested 13 brands on Amazon, even brands that were making certain label claims, about, the amount of ricinoleic acid they would have within them. And it was shocking. Many of them were not even castor oil. I don't even know what they were.
Oh my gosh.
They were smooth. They were missing ricinoleic acid. Like, they just didn't have the proper structure.
Wow.
Um, Others were just cold pressed but oxidized.
Huh.
So, I'm a big believer of third party testing all along the supply chain. So
Right.
from before we buy it to when we receive it and before it's bottled. And that's what we do in order to make sure that the quality is there for the consumer. And
Good
of
for
course,
you. I mean, that takes a lot of money and
yeah,
time,
yeah.
but that it's really good that you do that. Ricinoleic acid, is there any beauty benefits to ricinoleic acid? Is there any kind of, I mean, it's something that I'd love for you to share a little bit more of.
Yeah.
And then what are the beauty benefits of castor oil? Because I've heard this as a theme, is like, really beautiful, either, older men and women use castor oil, and yeah, so I will probably get to how you use castor oil, but yeah.
Yeah. So this is the cool thing about castor oil, is that in terms of, it's probably the most deeply hydrating oil, that
Wow.
because of its structure, and
Mm.
also the most richly nourishing, which is awesome. So especially when that comes to maturing skin, as we mature, male or female, dryness begins, things begin to sag, things begin to shift and change, right? But the biggest complaint and issue is dryness of the skin. And
Yeah.
so, right, as the hormones change and shift off, like everything just gets dry, and it gets worse as we age. So then
Mhm.
our beauty routines really need to shift and change. And so castor oil is wonderful. Like, I use it regularly as a face wash. I don't use soap anymore, because soap really is just more drying to the skin in most cases.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. And then I'll apply this to younger women and men, because it actually works a long lifetime. So the earlier you can start with castor oil, the better that it is. But my simple routine to wash my face is simply, I take a steamed cloth, and this I want to encourage people to do this. Try it for 7 days and just notice a difference in your skin. So you steam a cloth, you open up all your pores, and then you take castor oil. You either like use a bottle like that, you take about a quarter size amount, or we have these fancy roll-ons that you can just like roll the castor oil on your face and focus it around your eyes. Castor oil is great as for women as an eye makeup remover, right? So it'll
Wow.
remove makeup, yeah. And then you just you massage it into your skin, and then you take that same wet cloth and you just wipe everything off. And that's a face washing routine, like basically oil washing for your face. Like, it's super simple, and I do that nightly. And that's how I maintain skin. People, whenever I bring that up, they get worried, because then they're like, "Oh my God, it is such a thick and heavy oil." Number one, is it going to cause acne or blocked pores? Right?
Mm.
And the beauty with castor oil, again, it's such a counterintuitive oil, even though it is the thickest of the oils, like it is the least comedogenic, which means it's the least likely to actually clog pores of most of the oils that people are
Wow.
using cosmetically. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a great practice there with face washing. People are now doing a practice called slugging. This is an ancient practice, slugging of the face, where people basically like they use, unfortunately, Vaseline, which I highly don't recommend because that's a petroleum base, and you probably don't want to go to bed with petroleum.
No, don't use petroleum base. That's nasty.
But they do it. But the alternative is castor oil. And
Yeah.
castor oil, you just, again, if you want to do that, you just apply it completely all over your face and you can go to bed. The one caution with that is, of
Wow.
course, it's messy, right? So, you probably want to avoid having it all over the face. So my workaround for that I've been using for years is that I apply castor oil again with the roll-on all around my eyes and including my eyebrows and eyelashes, because castor oil has been known to help improve the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, the dark circles under the eyes, support, better appearance of like the sagging areas that sag as we get older, and
Wow.
improve the appearance of brows and lashes. So bolder brows, bolder lashes. And so
Really?
I
Is it
apply.
actually like cause them to get thicker? Could it also potentially cause them to not whiten as fast, like if you're graying?
Again, we just don't know what it is, but people swear by it and love it. And I would just encourage people to try it and just see what their results are. And from there, they be the judge, because, I've been using it for years. I love it. I'm not going to stop. For me, enough of the benefit is that I notice the difference in my skin texture. And I
Wow.
notice like how, like when you touch my face feels like a baby's bottom. Like it doesn't feel, and I'm 46, and look at my complexion.
Wow, you
Yeah,
look great.
I
Yeah,
know.
you do.
And
I
I
mean,
use
I hope people are watching the video versus the audio because you have like a very young look. I would never have thought you're 46 years old.
yeah. And glowing skin, I use no foundation at all. I use a little bit of, organic natural blush. I might use a little bit of not the best mascara and eyeliner, which I'm working on like finding the best one, because the ones I've found that are natural just not cutting for me, but soon I'll be there. I'm on a hunt. But for me, it's just I'm of the thought I would like to avoid things like Botox and filler.
Yeah,
Castor oil doesn't replace what those things do, because obviously they're drugs and they do have a major effect. But for me, it's about aging gracefully. I would like to just, own my lines, own the worries, the smile lines. And, like that is
yeah.
just proof of a beautiful.
There's something about that. I think there is in these centurion communities or centenarian communities around the world, these people that lived over 100, like the more lines you have, the more white you have on your head, like the more respect and honor and dignity you have. And people like show like that's in the places where people are embracing age. And it's unfortunately in the West, it's like people want to walk away from that and be embracing the young kind of like Botox look. But what I truly believe is, I think we're literally like a few years away from being able to like redo your whole face with your own stem cells and
That's
rebuild
cool.
collagen and things of that nature with some of these new technologies. But utilizing these traditional ancient like wise solutions like castor oil, and knowing that they have these healing properties that God had like designed within it that like create, whatever they do to help, optimize the inner physiology of the body and the external appearance of the body. Because I know we can't talk about this on the podcast or on this interview. But there's a lot more I wish we could say about castor oil
Yeah.
that like has come out around some of the incredible transformations people have had. But again, it's the encouragement to just use it yourself.
Thank
But I love that, just using it around your eyes, around your face, doing a slug in a way, and then using it for cleansing at night. And oil cleansing is the thing now, right? Like
It is of the
it's
skin.
like what
Yeah.
all the beauty, the
Influencers
women
are
are
doing.
doing now. Yeah.
And with the eye practice, like this is the cool part. So I apply it all around my eye, but then I wear the castor oil pack, but for my eyes. So I actually go to sleep with an eye mask that is actually made specifically for castor oil with an outside protective barrier, and then the nice organic cotton on the inside. And that's my beauty sleep routine. So I do that every night. Like I don't. It's the first thing I pack when I travel, Isaac. It's
This
like
is a very,
yeah.
that's
It's
incredible.
yeah, I just live with it. And you're right, like the ability to be able to cleanse the skin with oil is actually, again, although it may sound counterintuitive, like I definitely, when I was younger and I was dealing with problematic skin and complicated skin and acne and such, I was staying away from oil, but until I realized that actually my skin was reacting the way it was because it was in need of oil, right?
Oh
It was
wow.
in need of
How do
moisture.
explain that? Because there are people with like eczema and like acne and different things that are, that take place to the skin. Like how is it that we can utilize castor oil to optimize the physiology and balance of the skin and like the counterintuitive nature of like, okay, my skin's oily and I've got acne. Why would
Yeah.
you put oil on oil? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And,
Well,
and then the
because
last thing I want to know is what do you wash it off with? Like just dab it with a washcloth or
yeah,
just
that's
leave it
it.
on?
No, you just literally wipe it off with a washcloth and you allow the oil to be there. And that's what, is both like a supportive hydrating layer. It's
Wow.
nourishing, so it nourishes while you sleep. And the idea with the oil, it's like in homeopathy, like cures like. It's like if your body is creating excessive amounts of sebum and oil, it's because it's lacking it. So the body is so smart, right? And that's why, hydration is often the solution to everything. And it's so true when it comes to skin and everything that could be possibly happening with the skin is hydration is the key towards, the beautifying the look of what is occurring. And
Wow.
and the younger that you start with castor oil, I think is key because the younger that you start, the more hydrated your skin is as it ages, the more nourished it is, the less amount of makeup you'll need to use. One of the beauty trends too, like that I'm really unhappy with is the fact that they're promoting now like Botox and filler to a really young audience as a
Yes.
way for them to, preserve their beauty. But the problem with that is that actually it causes muscle atrophy. They actually lose the natural shape of the way that their face will evolve.
Mm.
Like I'm fine with people like you do you. If someone wants Botox and wants filler, go for it. I'm game as long as they know the repercussions and they're aware of everything. Like as a clean beauty advocate, I'm cool with people as long as doing and making any choice they want as long as they're aware of the risk that they're taking because then it's just your choice and that's
Right.
cool.
But the kids don't know the risk and they're just being told that this is like what to do. I remember these Iranian girls that were so beautiful across this fire pit to me outside of this organic grass-fed ice cream shop in Avalon here in Atlanta. They're like, they start talking to me and I tell them I'm a doctor and then they're like, oh my gosh, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Like you could tell they're 16, 17, one of them was 20. They all had Botox in their face. They all had fillers in their lips. And I'm like, they're so naturally beautiful. They
I
didn't
know.
need it, but they're
Yeah,
like, well, I'm doing it because that's how you prevent us getting wrinkles in the future. And I was
I
just like,
know.
no, like if you see what happens with people long term when they're using Botox, it's actually really sad. But I would love to know if you can use it in your hair as well. Like it
Yeah.
is okay.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So that this goes along with the brows and lashes. Again, we
Your
really
hair and
don't.
your body, right? You'd want to use it on your body, I assume too.
Oh yeah. So castor oil is honestly, this is the thing about it. It simplifies your beauty routines because it's multi-use. So you can use it in your hair, your brows, your lashes, on the facial skin, on the eyes. You can use it all over your body, on your feet. Like I literally like castor oil in my packs are the first thing that I pack. I'm literally whenever I go anywhere, if I don't have it, I don't know what I would do with myself. I'd probably go bonkers and have to order it from my shop online. But weekly I'll do like a hair wrap. Like I was telling you, I've just been on the road for 3 weeks, and I was, damaging my hair and drying it a lot from using like a hot roller and a dry iron. So the minute that I got home, I immediately, like, it's such a simple routine. And with castor oil, this is the thing. People get worried, like, is it going to be easy to wash out? Is it going to be just like really, like, what will it do to my hair? You have less is more. Please, audience, listen to that. Less is more with castor oil when it comes to your hair. When you have fine hair, I have like a mid to mid thickness of hair, not totally fine, but not totally thick either. I use about a quarter size amount of castor oil, and I'll rub it through my palms, and I'll place it in my roots, and I'll literally go like this, like, which means I'm fingering my fingers through my hair, and then I'll make sure that my roots and my hair, all the hair shafts just get nourished. And then the key to it, though, if you really want to get effectiveness, is this. So I created these hair wraps because when I was younger, these are great. So when I was younger, I used to do these hot oil hair treatments.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I didn't want to heat the castor oil. I wanted to naturally heat it. And what I realized was when I would do castor oil packs, it would naturally heat my body up with the packs, the Queen of the Thrones packs. So then I took it a step further, and I'm like, can you guys make me a hair wrap that I could, wear for an hour? So I'll wear this for an hour. I have castor oil on my roots. It was fingered all the way through my hair on the tips. Less is more. And I sit there for an hour, and I do kind of like my Sunday self-care, stress-free day to like kind of get ready for the week and beautify. Like I've been doing that now for years. Like, and I just love it because this feels so good because it's amazing the amount of heat that when you have a proper wrap, because this wrap isn't just any old like towel wrap. This wrap actually has like an outside layer that holds in the heat and organic cotton inside. So it's basically like
Wow.
a castor oil pack for your hair. Yeah. And
Wow.
this is probably one of my favorite routines to do. And then I'll do things like castor oil exfoliant for my skin. I'll mix it with like Himalayan salt and matcha green tea. And then I'll follow it up with my hair. Woo! I'll follow it with a castor oil mask, which will be like a mix of like clay, honey, and castor oil. And I'll rub that all over my face. And then I'm just basically doing my little beautifying routine. My husband does it too now, which is great. And like, it's just so nice because ultimately the thing in our lives is we're so stressed. If we go back to the beginning of this podcast, what brought me to castor oil was that I was so stressed, right? And the stress was impacting my ability to just receive life, right? And
Wow.
yeah,
That's
it's
so powerful.
and it's across the board for everybody. This is probably what is impacting our society more than anything, is that we're blocking life because of the stress, right? And
Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, and the way to move through that is truly with self-soothing practices, like reading a book, reading the Bible, doing your castor oil packs, like doing your self-care routines. Your beautifying practices are such a part of that.
My
Like,
wife is so good at that. I need to get better. And when I do, it literally it like I could not believe when I did facials. I'm like by myself, like or with
yeah,
Erica. I'm like how transformative my whole body felt after that. I think self-soothing is a way of the future for longevity. I think it's going to be how people access living a longer, healthier life if they can get in the habit of doing this daily or a few times a week or even
yeah,
once a week. I mean,
just
it's
something. Yeah,
just something,
yeah.
but this is so good, Marisol. Where can they find more information about, what you're up to and how can they get access to the hair wrap and the eye mask and all the other
Awesome.
things?
Awesome. Well, can definitely find us on our website at Queen of the Thrones, and there you'll see all of our products. My book is launching. It's a castor oil, the queen of all oils. So it's literally the guide to like to simplify your beauty routine with the multi-use castor oil. So that's an excellent, and so that'll have all the details of all of these routines, like including even how I dry brush with castor oil, which is such a cool practice. Like your body feels so soft. If they want to follow
Wow.
me personally, it would be at Be Well Queen. So that's BEWELL Queen, because I love the queen image.
I can see that.
I just I just feel every woman is a queen and every man is a king. And, we're here on life to just own our thrones. And it's time, and again, the way that we do that is through self-soothing, stressing less, and just really like implementing practices so that we can get out of that stressful day and keep on shifting into the relaxed and feel good and live life to our best. So that's the best place to find me. And I always love creating a community. We on my channel, we do challenges to start to work with castor oil in your life. And over time, like I start teaching people about really just clean beauty and clean beauty practices and how to, you may not be perfect. And I'm not perfect either. I don't claim to be perfect, but over time you keep on continuously swapping out things. And then, you're just living a better, cleaner life overall. So that's my goal.
I love it. I love it. I just went to Instagram and followed you on Be Well Queen at Be Well Queen. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and knowledge with us. And I know there's so much more that we wish we could have shared today, but the bottom line is this is a powerful longevity technology that has been designed by God, and there's nothing like it out there. So you definitely don't want to use the toxic forms of them on Amazon, the oxidized forms. I love the level of precision that you have to make sure the quality is at the highest level, Marisol, and definitely pick up her new book. But thank you so much, Marisol. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Isaac. Always great seeing you. Lots of love.
You as well. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to the Longevity Leaders Podcast. Our Longevity Leaders community is on mission to transform 100 million lives by 2040. If you enjoyed this show, please share this with somebody that you know, especially another doctor or physician, but also click that follow button. Until next time, stay strong and live long.